So, let me ask you something. Where do you even begin to search for someone who vanishes on the very day the world changes forever? It's a tough question, right? And it is at the absolute heart of one of the most haunting mysteries to come out of the September 11th attacks. And at the center of this whole mystery is a woman named Dr. Sneha Philip. She was a 31-year-old doctor, and here's the crazy part. The last time anyone can say for sure they saw her was on September 10th, the day before the attacks. And she was just blocks from her apartment, which, was also just blocks from what we now call Ground Zero.
So, to really try and piece this all together, we have to go back. Let's look at the last known facts of her life. Okay, so this timeline is absolutely crucial. You've got a confirmed sighting of Sneha shopping in the afternoon, totally normal, but then hours later, her husband Ron gets home and she's not there. The apartment's empty. Then, get this, in the middle of the night, around 4 a.m., a call is made from their apartment phone to his cell, a call he doesn't even remember getting. And all of this is happening literally hours, even minutes, before the entire world is about to change right on their doorstep.
I mean, when you look at her last day, it just seems so ordinary. She's online, chatting with her mom. She drops off some dry cleaning, and then she goes on this pretty big shopping trip. In fact, the last confirmed image we have of Sneha is from a security camera at that department store, Century 21. And believe it or not, the things she bought that day, they're going to become a huge part of the debate over what really happened.
Now picture this. When her husband Ron is finally able to get back into their apartment after the towers fell, the scene is just surreal. Everything, and I mean everything, is coated in this thick gray dust. You can see their two kittens' little paw prints all over the place, but there are no human footprints, none. It's like Sneha just vanished into thin air. So you can imagine the family's desperation, right? In the face of this just terrifying void, they came up with a theory, a really powerful one about what happened. This became known as the hero theory, and it all boiled down to who Sneha was. She was a doctor. Her family was absolutely convinced that with her medical training, her first instinct wouldn't be to run away from the chaos, it would be to run towards it, to help. They believe she died a hero, trying to save lives in the rubble. And this right here is maybe the most frustrating piece of evidence in the entire case. It's this grainy security footage. You see a woman, more of a silhouette really, walking into their apartment building lobby at 8:43 a.m. That is just 3 minutes before the first plane hit the North Tower. The family is adamant. They say the way she walks, what she's wearing, it's her. But she doesn't have any of the shopping bags from the day before, and the video quality is just too blurry to ever be 100% sure. So when you add it all up for the hero theory, what do you have? Well, you've got her being a doctor, her apartment being right there, and this super tantalizing but ultimately blurry video. But here's the big one. She left everything behind. Her glasses, which she needed to see, her driver's license, her passport. I mean, you don't just walk away from your life and leave all that. For her family, this was the proof. She didn't run away, she was caught up in the tragedy.
But as the NYPD started digging, they started to paint a very different and much more complicated picture of Sneha's life.
Yeah, the police report told another story entirely. Not of a hero, but of a woman who was really struggling. And this version of her story, it would become the biggest roadblock for her family in their fight to get her recognized as a 9/11 victim.
So what did the police find? Well, according to their investigation, Sneha's life was messy. They said she'd been fired from her residency for issues related to tardiness and alcohol. She was facing a criminal charge for filing a false report. They found evidence of marital problems and said she was going out a lot at night. She'd even been suspended from a new internship she had just started. Now, it is super important to note, her family has always pushed back hard on these claims, saying the police took things out of context or got them plain wrong. And so here we are, with two completely different stories. You have the family's version, a dedicated doctor who ran toward the danger. And then you have the police's version, a troubled person in crisis who maybe used the chaos of that day to just disappear. Or maybe fell victim to a totally unrelated crime. 9/11 would have been the perfect cover for either. With these two narratives at a total impasse, the whole thing had to go somewhere else. The search for an official answer moved from the streets right into the courtroom. And at first, it didn't go the family's way. The court actually sided with the police. The judge looked at the case and said, look, the evidence that she died on 9/11 just isn't clear and convincing. They denied the petition to have her declared a victim, saying it was just as possible that she ran away or was a victim of some other crime. But they didn't give up. The family appealed, and in a pretty dramatic twist, a higher court came to a completely different conclusion. The appeals judge basically said, hold on a second. He argued that the simplest explanation is usually the right one. He threw out a lot of the police's findings as just gossip and hearsay, and he decided that it was way more likely that she died at the World Trade Center than any of these other wild theories.
And just like that, with that final ruling, after years of fighting and uncertainty, Sneha Philip's story finally had an official ending.
So in January of 2008, Dr. Sneha Ann Philip's name was officially added to the list of 9/11 victims. She became the 2,751st person on that list.
Now, let's be clear. The court's decision didn't magically solve the mystery of her final hours. It's not like they found new proof. But what it did do was provide an official answer. It was an acknowledgement that the most probable story was the hero theory, and it gave her family that final legal recognition they had fought so hard for.
So today, if you go to the National September 11th Memorial, you'll find her name there, etched in bronze on panel S66 of the South Pool. It's a powerful thing, right? To have a legacy defined by a single catastrophic day. It gives her story an ending, a place of honor, and it solidifies that one version of events. But, and this is the thing that always gets me, it doesn't erase the questions. It can't. Those questions about her last 24 hours still linger, leaving this really personal, haunting mystery right in the middle of a massive national tragedy.